And yeah, anyone who's just arriving, I'm about to start a live yoga practice. So if you're ready, what we're going to do is we will just check in that you have space to move freely. So what I mean by that is when you take your arms out when you're standing or you're lying down, you take your arms out on the ground, you've got room for your arms to move freely in the space that you have. If you're on a hard floor, it's useful to have a blanket or obviously a yoga mat if you have one, but if not, maybe a towel or a rug would also work. We don't really need any specific props for this practice, but if you have things available to you that would enable this to be more accessible, then please do have them. So we could be talking about yoga blocks, we could be talking about folded blankets or cushions, things that can just enable this to be comfortable and enjoyable for yourselves. Okay, so we'll get started if that's okay, because I have a tendency to go over on my timing, so I'm kind of trying to be really punctual so that I can make this kind of a more efficient use of your time. So what I'd like you to do to begin with is to come and take a seat of your choice. So I'm going to sit kneeling, but you could sit onto a chair. You could also sit cross-legged, and you could have your feet on the ground out in front of you. And we'll just take a few moments to anchor ourselves into the practice. Sigh the breath out a few times. Breathe in through the nostrils. Sigh the breath out. Relax the jaw as you sigh, and again. So as you begin to invite those sighing breaths, be aware of the space around you. Be aware of the colour in your room, light, any fragrance in the air. So you're aware of your external environment, and then bring your awareness to the ground beneath you. You're aware of the space that holds you, place of support from which you're able to move and breathe freely with a sense of ease and purpose. And once you get a feel for the ground supporting you, noticing how the pull of gravity enables you to settle more fully towards the earth, I'd like you to be aware of the space above you. You don't need to look around, you can just feel it above the crown of your head, the tops of your shoulders, and invite length from the ground towards the sky in your body. So where can you invite some length in your body? Perhaps it's a case of shuffling around on your seat just to enable yourself to be more comfortable, providing your hips with some more space, relaxing the muscles. Perhaps it's a case of lifting through the pelvis towards the shoulder blades. Have a sense that you are aligning yourself with your spine. There is this length within you that you can experience along the spine. And another way that we can further experience that length is just by tucking the chin in towards the throat. And then somewhere else where we might be able to explore spaces across the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders in the jaw, relaxing the jaw. There could be other things that you would like to do that enable you to feel more comfortable in your body and enable you to feel more spacious before we begin to move. And just to begin, bringing your awareness to your nostrils, and you're aware of the breath in and you're aware of the breath out. Nothing else at this stage. Breath aware. So we're really starting to interocept. We're coming to our inner sensations from that outer space that we're practicing in. Start to be aware of the way the breath is in your body as it touches your nostrils, a coolness of breath, and then as it exits back out through your nostrils, a warmth of breath. And throughout the practice today, just to give you a little thread or anchor through the practice, think about your alignment as a means to connecting to the breath. So don't worry about alignment of the body and trying to achieve the perfect pose and look a certain way. Align with your breath and go with what feels good. Go with what feels right for you, that feels joyful, that's going to bring you into that clearer state of mind, state of body, okay? So alignment on a very subtle level rather than trying to overemphasize specific shapes in the body. So let's begin with some movement. Bringing yourself onto all fours. Before you come, just give your wrists a little circle, as if you're kind of warming up the wrists. Because we're going to be doing a bit of work on all fours and we haven't done anything else yet with the body. So I think sometimes the wrists are quite vulnerable. It's useful to almost let them know, wake them up, and then we'll come and apply some pressure onto them. You could also clench the hands, release the hands, activate the fingers, change your direction in which you're doing it. So if it's upward facing, then you could go downward facing. Okay, so just shake that out. Bring your hands out in front of you and bring yourself onto all fours. And then in this position, just think about what's happening with your hands, with your knees. Your knees should be in line with your hips, roughly, and your wrists should be in line with your shoulders, roughly. But if there is a tenderness there across the wrist when you place yourself in that position, then just sliding them out a little ahead of you will decrease the angle of that pressure. And then also think about what's happening with the core. So rather than collapsing through the belly, collapsing through the back, think about lifting and activating the belly so you draw the belly button in towards the spine. And it's from this place that we will start to experience our breath and our movement. As you exhale, think about rounding through the back of the body, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, lifting through the top of the pelvis towards the shoulders. As you breathe in, release the pelvis back and then arch the spine and lengthen, lifting the chest. You could also let your chin raise at that point. So focus on the belly as you exhale. As if you're sucking the belly button in towards the spine and you round through the back of the body gradually. And then release through the pelvis first. Find length in the tailbone and like a wave rippling along your spine, lengthening and expanding. And then exhale and round again. Aligning your awareness with the way your breath connects to your movement. With each inhale, a quality of length, a quality of expansion. With each exhale, a quality of support coming in through the core, roundedness, grounding in the shape, press through the knees, and once more. And then come back to your starting point. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, send your pelvis back towards your heels. And then inhale as if you're pushing a ball along the floor with the crown of your head. Rise onto your hands. Exhale, take the pelvis back. So you're probably noticing this isn't a quick, fast-paced form of yoga. This is slow, mindful, so that you can really tune in to what you notice in your body. If you're practicing in the morning, often we will feel stiffer. So we want to take our time to prepare ourselves to come into forward folds, to come into stronger postures, just warming up the body, bringing us into a state of mindful, moving meditation. When you complete the round that you're on, bring your knees together and bring your hands about mat distance apart. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more space. I've just nudged my knees back a little. And the next time I exhale, I'm going to take my pelvis back and then I'm going to round it. I'm going to circle, like I'm drawing a circle with my pelvis around the knees, and then I'm taking it around and back again. So this, I'd recommend maybe 3 to 4 times depending on your pace. Let the exhalation be the closing part of the shape. Let the inhalation be the opening, the lengthening part of the shape. And in the practice today, I'd like you to be curious as to what your alignment is with your breath. Noticing how the inhalations really provide length and space, and the exhalations come into that more closing, grounding, nurturing shape in the body. If you haven't done so already, changing direction. I have a really clicky shoulder, so apologies if that's transmitted, but you might also have some clicks and things occurring, so be aware of your sensations and movement. And when you complete the round that you're on, we're going to start to tuck ourselves into a ball-like shape with the pelvis back towards the heels. And if this position is too cramped for your knees, lifting the pelvis into flexed spine, so rounded spine. Hands are going to be at over the shoulders, as if we're in a heart hug. Hearty hug. So the hands are at the shoulders, and we're going to come out of this hug as we find length in the spine, like we're peeling the spine away. Take a breath in, peel the spine away, come onto the knees, lift the arms and expand. And then on the exhale, rotate round to one side, let your arms sweep. Inhale, expand the arms up. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale to come upright. Exhale, hands touch the shoulders, round the back, taking the bottom towards the heels. Breathing in and expand, lifting from that place. Align yourself to length. Exhale, let the abdomen come in as you rotate. Inhale, come back to length. Exhale, grounding so that you can rotate with care through your core. And then that final exhalation brings you into that closed expression of the body. And we'll do that once more to each side. So we're just getting a little more expansive now with our movements. Still with the breath at our main point of focus. How the exhalations guide us into those rotations and the inhales lift us to expand. Coming in, hands to shoulders. Place your hands on the ground just in front of you. Roll up onto the balls of the feet. Lower your bottom down towards the heels. And then, I'm having a little jiggle, so you might want to have a little jiggle. Start to stretch your bottom up towards the sky. Coming into a forward fold. And then softening into the knees. So thinking about this forward folding position. Folding your arms, literally folding your arms. Allowing the elbows to dangle. If you find that it's too intense for your back, you bring your hands onto your lower back and roll up without the arms playing a role. So think about your shoulders as you begin to breathe. We're going to take maybe 3 or 4 breaths here to unravel. And I'd like you to keep your knees bent the whole time until your shoulders become upright. And your chin is drawn in towards your throat. So we're not coming into the neck at any stage until the very end. And the shoulders lift. Gradually finding ourselves in an upright position. When the shoulders stack themselves on top of your rib cage, on top of the pelvis, relax the arms, and then the legs can move towards straight. So what we'll do is we'll take a posture here that enables us to move from a balance into a walk, and we'll come into heels raised. So just trying this for a few moments with your breath in, raising the heels, and with your breath out, lowering the heels down. You're welcome to include the arms if you'd like to, otherwise you could stay with the arms by your sides. And exploring this maybe 3 or 4 more times. Really inching out into that length in your body, aligning your thoughts with the inhalation to provide length, aligning your thoughts with the exhalation to ground. I'm a little bit croaky, so apologies for that. Lifting and lowering. And the next time that you come upright, with the arms or without the arms, that's optional. Really soften into the shoulders, and then see if you can take a little walk around your space on your balls of your feet. Just try shifting your body around a little, maybe a side stretch in one direction, a side stretch in the other direction, and then I'm going to invite you to sink down low. Let's sink down low onto the heels and then the balls of the feet with the knees bent, like we're doing kind of walking lunge, very low, getting some flexion into the knees there. Okay, let's come back, rise, come to a place of stillness, pause, sigh the breath, and as you breathe in, take the arms up in the direction of the sky, and then on the out breath, bend the knees, but keep your chest lifted, so we're coming into a chair pose, slight hinge at the waist, and then a breath in here before the exhale, fold you. Keep hinging at the waist, the knees remain bent, and you fold, abdomen finds the thighs, hands come towards the ground, or you can come onto your lower back with your arms. Breathe in and lift the chest, the knees bent, come back into chair pose, exhale, come back. Inhale the arms, exhale, slight lean forwards in the chest, breath in, keeping this length in the torso, breath out, so try and maintain that length as you hinge from your hip creases essentially. Find the thighs, find the legs, soften in your shoulders, your neck, and then inhale, peeling the chest, peeling the spine, exhale to come back. And we'll do this twice more, so you're finding your rhythm with your movement and your breath once again. The exhalation takes you into forward fold with the knees released. Allow your spine to merge over your legs. And then inhale and peel yourself away. Exhale to come back. And once more. When you fold forwards, just let the exhalation bring you into that forward fold. And then aligning yourself with length on the in-breath as you rise. Exhale, come back to your starting point. Just take a deep breath in here. Sigh the breath. Come towards the back of the mat. Turn your right toes out. Take a step forwards with your left foot. Hands come at the heart. This is a really similar movement now, but we have one leg out in front of the other. So let the in-breath take the arms upright. Let the out-breath bend the knees, and we come into a forward-leaning warrior. So it's almost like we're creating a line from the back of the heel to the crown of the head diagonally. The in-breath lifts into the chest, the exhalation, forward fold over the front leg. Inhale brings you back through, so we come back into that forward-leaning warrior. Exhale to bring yourself back. So inhale with the arms. Exhaling, breath in to stay, explore here, breath out, releases you down, inhale and rise, finding that length once again, exhale to come back. So let's do that maybe once or twice more depending on your pace. I'm not sure how quickly or slowly you're moving. And the exhalations release you to the ground, and the inhalations rise you from the ground. Just making this your last round before you bring your feet back together. So if you're still moving through that sequence, just finally coming back to standing, and we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So left foot turns out, the right toe step forwards, the hands meet at the heart. And we breathe in, lengthen through the arms, really ground through the feet. Exhale, bending the front knee, sweep the arms beside you. Inhale here, exhale and release down. And just noticing what's different from this side to the other. So I have a tighter hamstring on this side for sure. taking you into that forward leaning warrior on the exhale. Stay as you breathe in and then forward fold. And the inhale lifts and rises, and the exhale brings you back. So again, once or twice more, depending on your pace, where you're up to. Aligning yourself with the way the breath supports the movement. With each inhale, there is a lift, a length, a spaciousness. With each exhale, we come back in some way, sense of grounding and support. And when you've completed, step your feet back together. Just take a few moments to pause there and let yourself absorb the effects of that energizing sequence. And realigning yourself with your breath once again. Stepping your feet wide, arms at the heart, pivot on the feet so the toes on the left side go out towards the left and the toes on the right foot point out towards the left also. Hands over the heart, breath in, expand the arms out, reaching out star-like in your shape, and then exhale over to your right hand side. Soften your right knee, let your right hand find your leg. Inhale the top arm over, exhale the arm away. Inhale to rise, and then we'll come back in again. So you soften your right knee as much as you need to. The hand can come lower down or higher up, and then with your top arm exploring the length within a range that is useful for you. It might not be much, it might be quite a lot. So it's whatever is accessible for you in this moment. Align yourself with the way the breath finds that expanse along the side of the body, opening, and then exhaling and releasing away. Lift and rise, hands to heart, breathing out. Pivot on the feet so that they're parallel, and then we'll do the same in the opposite direction. So the breath in, expands the arms, the breath out, leaning, and then soften into your left knee. Inhale with the top arm, exhale, wave the arm away, inhale and rise. So I always like to think of this version, this is Trikonasana, so it's a triangle version, and it's like a giant wave with the arm. We're just sending that wave out to the world. So when you put all your waves there in the chat, this is my way of just waving back to you. And we're doing a virtual wave into the universe. Okay, making this your last round. Exhale, hands to heart. Let your feet turn back towards parallel and just start to bring those feet together. Coming towards the top of your mat. As you inhale, take your arms up in the direction of the sky, and on the exhale, sweeping the arms wide, fold the arms like we did earlier. Breathe in here, and then as you breathe out, tucking the chin in first and start to let your head round in the direction of your arms. And as soon as the shoulders start to round, soften the knees. And this will add protection for your back as you begin to roll. And keep the elbows with that draw of gravity, but resist a drop. Just let it be gentle, taking yourself down towards the ground. Soften your knees as much as you need to so that your belly and your thighs can merge, and then bring your hands alongside your feet, and then step your right foot back, step your left foot back, and bring yourself into downward facing dog. And then just press a little into your heels, lift through the pelvis, take a deep breath in, exhale, find the ground through your heels, soften into your knees, take a breath in, come onto the knees, and then exhale, taking the pelvis back towards your heels. When you're ready, slide yourself along the ground like a caterpillar or a wave, low to the ground, bringing yourself into a cobra position so you have your arms alongside the rib cage. Your chest is raised, your head is lifted, and as you inhale, just look over your right shoulder, and then exhale and stroke the mat or the ground with your nose as you inhale to your left shoulder. So let the exhale lower your head, stroke the mat with your nose. Let the inhale glide you to the right. Exhale lowers, inhale glides you to the left. And align yourself with the way the breath lifts and rises on the inhale as you cultivate length and space, and then on the exhale lower and find the ground. And then lower down. And start to stack your elbows underneath your shoulders so that you're coming into a more upright cobra position, but we have the support of the arms. And the idea here is to simply focus on the breath as this source, this alignment with length and space as we're lifting the chest. And then also thinking about the way the heart can penetrate itself towards the wall in front of you, almost as if you would be gliding forwards. But what keeps you grounded here through your exhalation, drawing the belly button in and then flattening down through the front of your pelvis and the legs. And your chin should be drawn in towards your throat. And when you've taken several breaths there, or you feel ready to lower down, just make a pillow for your head with your hands and pause. Bending knees. Just have a little sway of the knees from one side to the other. Let your feet relax, soften down through the front of your body. Just relax the effort in the back of your body. And then take your time to come over onto your back. I'll just do a short closing counter posture and relaxation. So keeping the knees in over the belly. So as you go, hands on tops of the knees. Inhale, let the knees extend away. Exhale and roll the knees in over your belly. And taking this 3 or 4 more times. We've taken quite a few opening and lengthening shapes, especially in the standing sequence, and just then in our prone back bends or our cobra positions. So it's important just to counterpose that and allow the back to settle. Release the effort in the body. Let the breath come back to its stable, smooth flow. And when you've taken a few of those, have your arms out at shoulder level with your knees still drawn in. On your exhalation, lower your thighs in the direction to one side, maybe not allowing them to find the ground, so there's some support coming in through the core. The inhale takes them upright and the exhale rotates them over the opposite way. And taking this maybe twice more. Just not too deep into our lying rotation and keeping it more about an active rotation than passive. So for example, when we stay and allow the body to settle, has slightly more restorative effect. But then also you might be tempted to involve your arms and kind of pull yourself further into a twist. So this way you're just working within a rotational range that is useful for you. And if you'd like to stay, then you're welcome to do so. So if you find that you just like to take a couple of breaths with your thighs on the ground, then just let them find the ground. You might find that they move away from you a little and the feet can relax onto the floor. Otherwise you can stay with that swaying action if you prefer. When you've taken a few breaths with your legs on the ground, Then find yourself in the opposite way, and again just a few breaths there. So in particular my shoulder is usually very tense on that right side, so I'm just going to take my awareness and breath into there, aligning it with a sense of expanse for my shoulder, and then exhaling and allowing the space to relax and find the ground. And then I'm going to bring the knees up, breathe in, sigh the breath, and then just let your feet come to the floor. Now if you prefer at this point, you're welcome to stretch your legs along the ground. You could rest onto your side or even onto your tummy, and we'll just take a short while to allow the effects of that practice to settle more deeply within us, and just paving the way for the day ahead with a sense of clarity and purpose. Fully align yourself as you begin to settle with the sensation of the back of your body finding the ground, releasing down through the bones, the soft tissue, your joints. And then bring your awareness to your nostrils once again, and notice how the breath feels as you inhale, a coolness of breath touching the nostrils, and then on the exhale, the warmth, the nurturing breath exiting. And as you inhale, invite a sense of nourishment, a sense of energy, clarity into your day. And as you exhale, settle. Invite relaxation into your body. Find the ground through the back or the side or the front of your body. And just continue here for a few moments. I'm going to use a chime to kind of bring us out from that relaxation. Gradually bringing yourselves upright, or you're welcome to stay for longer if you'd like to. Finding a comfortable seat of your choice once again. And just bring your hands to your heart in some way and focus on how you feel in your body. Aligning yourself once again with this quality of spaciousness and nurture that you've cultivated through your inhalations and your exhalations. And I'd just like to share something with you. So when all around there is chaos, disruption, confusion, uncertainty, we become a bit displaced in ourselves. So we can draw upon our practice to help bring about a greater sense of stability, a greater sense of certainty, of trust in ourselves. And that is really useful to establish, as if we're coming back to our core support every time, and then taking that into your day, taking that into your conversations, your actions, the environment that you interact with. Okay, so I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for this morning yoga practice.